Well, I'm a well-traveled man, and I just want to share my experiences. Started early, in the early, it was the late 80s, I left Uganda going to London. And now, coming from Uganda, I thought, and I knew I had a good command of the English language. And I got to London, and it surprised me. When I got there, I realized that no, what I spoke was not English. I'm at the train station waiting for a train to take me to a place that I thought was pronounced Leicester Square. So I waited, and the trains kept coming, leaving me, until an old lady that was standing on the side said, "Young bloke, what are you waiting for?" I said, "I'm waiting for the train to go to Leicester Square." She said, "No such thing. It's not Leicester Square. It's not Leicester Square. It's Leicester Square." And I started learning very fast. That's a typical Ugandan just arriving in London, getting it all wrong. And my experience again in London is realized, coming from Africa, we're just very jolly and hospitable and friendly, and you come to England and they're conserved their English. In the morning, on the train, people sit and everybody minds their own language. No, everybody minds their own business. Everyone's sitting quiet, reading a book or the newspaper. And I'm on a train going to work. In the coach, there's about 30 of us. And there comes a black person, gets on the train at the very far end. Of course, he sees me, I see him. And it's just in that, I think it's a culture. You look at it, you see another black person, you nod your head and say, "See me?" He nods back. And we keep going, minding our own business, until another black person enters on the other side of the carriage, sees me, nods his head, sees the other one, and recognizes him beyond just being black. And he starts a conversation. He goes, "Hey, Femi, when did you get back from Lagos?" And the other one responds back, he's like, I didn't go to Lagos. I didn't go to Lagos. I went to Abuja, you know." And these guys keep going and having a conversation. And of course, you're in there, you're dying. I'm thinking, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" And I start squeezing, in the seat and want to bury myself. And they keep talking. He's like, "Hey, so you went, okay, you went to, how's your mother?" It's like, my mama dead." "Oh, sorry, I didn't know." And they're talking, they're having a conversation, and I'm dying. And I'm starting to whisper to the neighbors, the white people. I'm like, "You know me, I'm not from Nigeria, I'm from Uganda." And of course, they keep talking, and one of them is mad that people are looking at him in a certain way. So he's like, "The people, they're looking like we're shouting or something." I'm like, "Nigga, you're shouting. Y'all need to just keep it down." My experience in London, black folk on the train, that was an experience. Now, I got another one, Nigerians. So these guys come, you know how flamboyant they are. They're just dressed in their agbada. They walk into this hotel. There's 4 of them, and he walks in and comes to the counter and bangs it on the bell, and somebody comes out, how could I help you?" And he's like, "I come out for 4. And the Englishman is like, "Excuse me, what?" He's like, "You mean you don't know Akomo?" He goes on to spell it for him. He's like, "SCCO-MMODATIO when accommodation." And the guy's just out there dying. He's like, "What are you talking about? I can't understand the thing you're saying." This guy said, "You say you speak English? Huh? You don't know accommodation." The guy thought when he spelled it, he thought they were giving him some Nigerian names. This one was called SCCMMODATIO. There goes another Nigerian experience. Now, living in England, it's about 3 years, and we upgraded. We upgraded and went to America, the land of all dreams. Now, when that happened to us, when I was in England, I realized my accent had become so English. I was very Cockney. And when I asked for water, it was water or what. I chose to speak Cockney. And I get to America, and very quickly it changes to water. And now I'm trying to figure out whether it's Twitter or Twitter. But here we are in America. Things have changed. It's an upgrade. The language has changed. And I remembered many, many times in England, every time I would say, "I come from Uganda," and people would be like, "Excuse me? Oh, I've never heard of that." So I'm in, as in Hollywood. Yes, it is Hollywood. Some of you say Hollywood. I like to say Hollywood. So I'm in Hollywood, I go shopping, and I eavesdropping on some people's conversation on the other aisle, and they're talking, and one of the person is English. So I was very excited because being in America, you know, you don't get to hear a lot of English. So here we are, and I'm hearing, and it's exotic and it's nice. So I just come, and as I come to just practice my English, I remembered what I used to hear, you know, in England. So I just try to mess with them. So like, hey, excuse me, where are you from? And the lady very nicely says, oh, I'm from England. And I say, I've never heard of that. She's like, what do you mean, what? What do you mean you've never heard of it? You speak in the language. How can you not? You never heard, what? She's turning red. I'm like, no, just easy, ma'am. I'm just messing with you. And I go on to tell her my story, how I had come to England, and I kept telling people about Uganda, and they never heard of it. Now, in Uganda, those years in the 80s, there was a big exodus. Young people left Uganda, and we went to England, we went to America, we went to Europe. Now, there's been another big exodus in the 2000s. There's a lot of young people. They've gone to India, and they've gone to Sudan. But guess what's so funny is when they have gone to India, they're coming back with an American accent. I remember a friend of mine, we went to pick his son, and he's coming from India. You know, and he comes out, you know, with a swag, and, you know, it's like, yeah, man, what's up, what it is? I'm like, I thought you would come off the plane saying, what it is, you know? He's speaking American. I'm like, how did you do that? I remember a friend of mine also had a son, went to school in India, and the father went to visit, and the teachers called and said, we want to talk to you. He came and they complained. Why your son not coming to class? So every day I'm calling, son is absent. And the son is like, no, I'm always in class, and you never call my name. He's like, no. Every time I call, pull out, register, I call out name, I say, Vicent, nobody answering. And the guy's like, what? That's not my name. Well, what is your name? He says, my name is Vicent. He's like, exactly. I call every day, I say, Vicent. Nobody answering. Why you are not in class all that time? And the boy's like, no, you're saying my name wrong. And then he looks at his friend, he says, yeah, him too. And the guy's like, no, him too is not my name. No, I say him too, P-wa-wo, you know, him too, P-wa-wo. You two are not coming to class. Why? And the parent was like, you know what? You guys just study, forget learning the Indian accent. That story continues. Yeah, still, I got another one in India still. Again, this is I think it was in Washington, and we were invited to the High Commissioner, the Indian High Commissioner. Usually because the ambassadors or High Commissioners serve for 5 years. He had done 5 years, and it's at the end of this, he has a big dinner and invites all of us, and we did the special music for them because I think the wife was an Indian Ugandan. She was born in Uganda, but then she went and married in India. So here we are. Everyone is having a blast, and the time for the speech, and the gentleman comes in a very gentlemanly way, and he gives a speech, a nice speech, and he says, but now to end this, I want to thank everybody here from bottom of my heart and from my wife's bottom too. And there we went, thanked the wife from her bottom too. I almost lost myself here, but I remember, yes, I lived in LA for a long time, and I went to West LA, Bishop Charles Blake. Yeah, Bishop, what's up? And Bishop has got a lot of stars that come to his church. Denzel Washington, Stevie Wonder. And I remember this one time Bishop had invited me for lunch, and he was with Stevie Wonder. And when I started doing promotions in Uganda, I was like, maybe I should take Stevie Wonder in Uganda, and maybe we'll just do a big charity for the blind or something. So we're having, lunch, we're eating, and I get excited. And after the meeting, after talking to Stevie, I gave him my number. And no, before I gave him my number, I don't know what I was thinking. I gave him a business card. And I remember, and I'm like, this guy's blind. What am I giving him a business card for? And he's funny. He just laughed it out and said, oh, okay, I can see. Is that your number on this card? And I'm like, yeah. And I didn't know the laugh was on me. But he had a nice phone, which was kind of like a piano. And that's how he put in the numbers. And we talked and we had fun, and he told me a story, and I think it's a true story. He had gone, he was doing a concert somewhere, and he was playing until somebody in the audience, and he thinks this person was a Mchiga person. So he's doing a concert, and somebody keeps shouting, putting their hand up, putting up, jazz chord, a jazz chord, a jazz chord. So what Stevie does, goes on the keyboard, you know, he starts playing some jazz chords, and he's impressed. He's like, oh, the appetite from these people, they know jazz? He plays a jazz progression, and the man says, no, not that one. A jazz chord is like, well, why don't you come out and play since you know what you want? So the man comes up on the microphone, and he goes on to sing. And he's a jazz chord, he said. And Stevie just died. When he told me that story, I said, ooh, I'm going to borrow that, and I'm going to share that to the whole world. That was my Stevie Wonder experience being in America. Now, again, you got to remember, you know, you come from Uganda. When you start to travel and you tell people Uganda, the one thing that everyone knew or knows about Uganda, and the first thing that would always come out of people's mouth is Idi Amin. You know, you get tired of Idi Amin. But this one funny story is when in England, there's a Ugandan lady that was working, and there was a tendency for Ugandans not to want people to know they're from Uganda. So this lady would always just tell people she's either from Kenya, Tanzania, some other place. And she worked for this young Jamaican dude who's very cockney. And every 1 or 2, 3 words he would say would always end it up with, you know what I mean? She's like, hey. He's like, oh, you want to go downstairs, get the boxes, bring them upstairs, and when you're done, just, you know, you can go home, you know what I mean? And the lady's like, hey. So she kept thinking, he's like, but who told this man? I've never told anyone I'm from Uganda. But one day I'm going to answer him. So this one day, the young bloke is, you know, saying something to her, blah, 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 blah. Once you're done, yeah, you could go home. You know what I mean? And she's like, yes, of course. He ruled Uganda for 8 years. He was a bad president. Who doesn't know Idi Amin? And the Dominicans are like, what? What are you talking about? She's like, and you asked me if I know Amin. I told you he's a bad president. And the Jamaican just lost it. He's like, I don't know what she is talking about. Now, like I told you, traveling around the world in the group Limit X singing just exposed me to so many things and countries and mileage. I had almost 4.8 million miles on Northwest. I was platinum for like 8 years. So the privilege here is when you're platinum for such a long time, you fly first class all the time. So I remember this one time, I think I was going for a business meeting. I was going to Joburg, and I'm on I think I was in the South African SAA. And, you know, you're sitting, you're on the plane, you know, you're reading your book, and we take off. Now, just immediately after we've taken off and people are taking the, you know, safety belts off and they're walking around, dude walks from economy class and comes and moves into business. I mean, in the first class, and he sits comfortably. So the hostess comes and, excuse me, sir, you can't just come from economy and come and sit out here. So I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to take you back. And the man looks at her and is like, listen, my name is Tugume. I'm from Kabari. I'm going to go back, and I'm not going back to economy. And she's confused and calls the co-pilot. He comes and tells him the same thing. Sir, they pay extra monies. You cannot move from economy and just jump into first class. So I'm sorry, I'm going to have to take you back. And the guy looks at him. Now, this time with the very fierce Chigaruk and assures the co-pilot, listen, my name is Tugume. I'm from Kabari. I am going to Joburg, and I'm not going back to economy. He sits. They go and tell the pilot, and this guy kept saying, he's a Chiga from Kabari, and he won't go back. He's like, no, let me go talk to him. I know how to speak with Chiga. So he comes to the man and just goes and tells him, and the man tells him the same thing in his face. Then he whispers something in his ears. And Tugume jumps up and is like, oh my God, I am sorry. I didn't know. Somebody should have told me. Then he goes back to economy. So, of course, the pilot, the co-pilot, and the hostess come to the pilot and ask him, so what did you tell him? What did you say to this man for him to stand up and go back and sit? He said, no, I told him first class is going to Cape Town. I died after that experience. I remember this one time I was in Rwanda, and a lot of our family, you know, born and raised in Uganda, but the family moved back to Rwanda. So one of the uncles, comes like, my son Isaac, a lot of big people. Please get me a hotel a job in a big hotel. I told him, but Mzee, he said, yeah, you get me a job. So I talked to one of my friends, and they gave him a job, and the guy said, okay, but do you speak English? He said, but of course, with so much confidence. So the man told him, okay. And he's asking him in Kinyarwanda, so if somebody is standing over there and you want them to come where you are to join you, what would you say? And the old man said, I say, come here. So once they've come and they've joined you where you at, and you want them to go back to the other place, what do you say? And the old man looked confused, said, huh? He said, what do you say? And the man said, hey, I go there and stand, and I tell him, come here. And that's how he and the man got the job. I don't know, maybe because the guy found him funny. I don't know. For those of you who know, gueno is chicken in Luo. I think Jaluos and Acholis and Langis, I think they all call it gueno. So there's this old man who was going to travel, and he loves his chicken. So he said, hii gueno wanaita namna gani kwa English? I don't, staki upata problem. And they told him, he said, oh, you call it a chicken? He said, chicken. He said, no, chicken. He said, okay. So he travels to a country where they spoke English. And I think what happened to him is he gets to the restaurant and he freaks out and he forgets what they call it. Now, fortunately enough, the guy that is sitting next to him orders for eggs. And he looks at it and his eyes light up and calls the waiter because now he had figured out what he wants. And he just said, give me the mother. Give me the mother. Which is like, what? Mother. Mama yake, hey, you bring. And the guy ended up getting his gueno. Hilarious. Now, my experience in America, again, you come to America and you find out there's so many black folk in America. There's a culture, you see somebody, you nod your head, and and we didn't know that when we came to America. As Limidex coming from England, we'd go to the shopping mall, and of course, every black person we would pass, they'd be like, hey, what's up, man? And I kept telling my guys, I'm like, dude, we're famous, man. People know us in America. Little did I know that it's a culture. People just nod. It's a black thing. It's like, yeah, peace, nod your head. And I remember we were homestaying, and some of the kids in this family had the friends come over because now they had a black person. They had black people in their family. So they were like, invited all their black friends. And, come see, we got some Africans, like real Africans in our house. So they come to their house, and the kids somehow got into an argument about God's color. It's like, hey, white boy's like, no, God is white. He's so white. What do you mean he's black? And the kid said, no, God is black. What do you mean? No, he's not. He said, nope. God, I'm telling you, man, God is black. And my daddy says so, and my daddy don't lie. The white kid says, no, God is so white, I can prove it to you. He said, okay, prove it. So the boy goes into quote to him in the Bible where God was talking to Moses. God said to Moses, I am that I am. So the white kid is like, dude, you see, man, God is white. Because if he were black, he would have said, I is that I is. And I just cracked up laughing. I was like, God is black. No. And I still have a question. I don't know what color God is. But my experience again in America is just the Americans being, what do you call it? I mean, kind of ignorant about things that are outside America. And I'm not generalizing here, but this is an experience that I had as so many people would come to us when you say you're from Africa, and they'll be like, oh man, oh that's cool, man. So I see you got your Nikes and everything, but when you go home, so where'd you put your clothes? I'm like, okay, I'm gonna mess with them. So I'm like, we have a big warehouse at the airport. Everybody comes, you get off the plane, you go, everybody gets a locker, you take your clothes off, you grab your spear and your loin, and you run to your village. Mama say, Mama Sana Makusa. And you're like, oh, dude, that's cool. I'm like, no, it ain't cool, man. What talking, we got clothes, we got Nikes. And one other kid asked me, and this was funny, he's like, so y'all live on trees? I'm like, yeah. And you know, I come from a rich family, and we got the biggest tree in my village. I got my own branch. The kids are like, man, that's cool, man. So what you do for fun? I'm like, well, we play with lions. I got a giraffe in the backyard, and they're laughing, and some of them are buying it. I'm like, oh man, you crazy? We have houses with bathrooms that flash. Sometimes, not all the time. Because it happens, you know what I mean? And my experience just in America, and that whole not knowing. I mean, somebody would ask you, Uganda, is that like next to Jamaica? like seriously? It's like, so how'd you get here, man? You drove? I'm like, drive from Africa to America? Are you crazy? My name is Isaac Rucci. Thank you very much.